The night my wife decided to destroy me in front of everyone I loved. I had already pressed record. She didn't know that. Nobody did. And what that little recording captured changed everything. Not just for me. For her. For our kids. Before we begin, if you've ever been betrayed, subscribe right now. This channel is for survivors. And tell me what country you're watching from. For the man she thought she was secretly needing behind my back. I want you to picture something. You've spent 15 years building a life. You worked double shifts. You skipped vacations. You said next year to yourself so many times that next year became a joke you stopped laughing at. You did all of that for one woman. One family. One house with a blue door that you painted yourself on a Saturday morning while she slept in. And then one night. At your own birthday party. In front of your brother, your mother, your childhood best friend. That same woman looks you dead in the eyes. And calls you a failure. Stay with me. Because what happened next is something I still can't fully believe myself. Let me back up. 6 weeks before that party, something changed in my house. I couldn't name it at first. You know that feeling when the temperature in a room drops, but no window is open? That's what it felt like. My wife started laughing at texts and then flipping her phone over when I walked in. She started going to the gym at 10 p.m. She started calling me fine when I asked how she was. Not good. Not tired. Fine. That word is a door closing. I didn't accuse her of anything. I'm not that kind of man. Instead, I watched. I listened. I paid attention the way you do when you already know something is wrong but you're praying you're just paranoid. 3 weeks before the party, I found a receipt in her jacket pocket. Dinner for two. A restaurant 40 minutes from our house. On a Tuesday. She told me that Tuesday she was visiting her mother. Her mother lives in a different state. I put the receipt back exactly where I found it. I didn't say a word. But something inside me shifted. Like a lock turning. I started preparing. I don't know for what exactly. I just knew I needed to be ready. So when the idea for a birthday party came up, her idea, by the way, I said yes. I bought the nice food. I called the old friends. I hung the lights on the back porch myself. And before the first guest arrived, I set up my phone in the bookshelf in the living room. Recording. Just in case. I told myself it was nothing. That I was being crazy. I was not being crazy. The party started beautifully. My brother flew in from across the country. My mother brought her potato salad, the one she's been making since I was 7 years old. My best friend from high school showed up with his kids. For about an hour. It felt like my life was okay. And then. It started small. A comment at the dinner table. My wife, laughing too loud at something, turned to the group and said, "You know him. He's always got big dreams. Just never quite gets there, right?" Silence in the room. Awkward laughter. I smiled. I let it go. Then, 20 minutes later, she's on the back porch talking to my brother. I'm standing just inside the door. She doesn't see me. And I hear her say, clear as a bell, "Honestly? I feel like I've been carrying this family for years. He means well. But he's just weak. Weak." She said it like it was a fact. Like it was something everyone in the room already knew and was too polite to say. My brother didn't agree with her. God bless him, he walked away. But I stood there for a long moment. And I made a decision. No anger. No confrontation. No scene. I walked back to my own birthday party. I cut the cake. I hugged my mother. I shook hands and laughed at jokes. And I thought about that phone in the bookshelf. Still recording. Because here's what my wife didn't know. She wasn't the only one with a secret. The next morning I watched the footage. 4 hours of it. And in hour 3, I saw something I wasn't prepared for. At some point during the party, while I was outside with my brother, my wife slipped away from the group. She went to the hallway. She thought she was alone. She pulled out her phone. And she spoke to someone. The name she used was someone I knew. Not a stranger. Not some mystery man from a gym. It was someone from my own life. Someone who had been sitting at that party. Eating my food. Shaking my hand. Wishing me happy birthday. I had to watch that moment 3 times before my brain would accept what my eyes were seeing. And in that hallway footage, right before she hung up the phone, she said something. 7 words. 7 words that rearranged my entire understanding of the last 2 years of my life. I'm not going to tell you what those 7 words were yet. Because first, you need to understand what I did next. I didn't blow up. That surprises people when I tell this story. They expect me to say I threw things. Screamed. Confronted her right then and there. I didn't. There's a kind of pain that doesn't make you loud. It makes you very, very quiet. And very, very clear. I backed up the footage to 3 separate places. Cloud storage. A USB drive. I emailed myself a copy. Then I reached out to someone I trusted. Not a friend. Not a family member. A lawyer. She thought I was weak. She'd been betting on that for a long time. That I would react emotionally. That I would give her the scene she could later use against me. But I had spent 15 years learning patience. 15 years of next year. 15 years of quiet. Turns out, that kind of training comes in useful. Over the next 10 days, while she went to her Tuesday nights and flipped her phone over and called me fine, I built a case. Document by document. Conversation by conversation. And I waited. The moment it all came apart was not dramatic. That's the thing about real life. The biggest moments are usually quiet. I came home on a Wednesday afternoon. She was sitting at the kitchen table. I put a folder down in front of her. Inside were printed screenshots, bank records, and a single printed transcript from that hallway footage. She looked up at me. And for the first time in I don't know how long, she had nothing to say. I looked at her. And I said, very calmly, "You called me weak." But I didn't say a word at my own party. I didn't break. I didn't beg. I planned. Tell me, which one of us was actually the strong one? I walked out of that kitchen. I had already arranged a place to stay. I had already spoken to my kids with the help of someone they trusted. I had already taken the first steps. Weak men collapse. I didn't collapse. I restructured. Now. Those 7 words. The ones she said in the hallway. On the recording. To the person I recognized. Here's what she said. We just have to wait a little longer. Wait a little longer. So I hired someone to look into the last 2 years of our finances. And what they found was a plan. Not just an affair. A coordinated, documented, financial plan. To drain a specific account. At a specific time. Right before she filed. She wasn't just cheating on me. She had a timeline. And I had interrupted it by exactly 11 days. You want to know the name of the person on that phone? You want to know what happened when my lawyer made that first call? You want to know what my kids said when they found out? That's the next video. Because this story isn't over.